journey on big data. My first question is, what is big data? Now, by definition from the Google, when data data possess three V's in nature, three V's in nature, that data is said to be a big data. That is said to be a big data. Now let us talk about what are the three V's. First is volume, velocity, and variety. How much volume of the data? Mostly huge one. Okay. Velocity. The data generated at a higher speed. Example, Twitter data, Facebook data. Right. Okay. The most important thing is variety of the data. The variety of the data is not always structured one. Current day data is different formats. Different formats. What are the formats? We will see here. One is structured data, unstructured data. The most important dangerous is semi-structured data. Right? Structured data, everybody knows the data stores in table format, which have rows and columns. Columns. Unstructured, it is related to images, audio, video, audio and video. Okay. Semi-structure is one of the thing. Some of the data having labels. Okay. These are the three kinds of varieties of the data what we are seeing here. And the one of the most important thing, most important apart from previous, one more we added. One more we. That is called veracity. Term veracity. Term, what is this? Veracity. I'll write into other color. What is the veracity here? I'll take a green here. So the whatever data is being generated, this data is not ready to use, not ready to use. What it mean? The data is not always cleaned. It may have, it may contains, it may contains missing values and null values. Okay, it may contain null values. This is also so important. So for big data, we are redefine the definitions to this three V's got changed to how many V's? Four V's. What is this? Four V's. Now let us move to other concept. Okay. Now question the most important question we need to ask ourselves. Whenever we want to build a system, what are things we required? We required two things primarily required. We need to have a storage system and we need to have a processing power. Processing power. See, in order to process a process, we need to store information. We need to store in the information. Okay. To storing the information, what are the things? We have a two kinds of options. We have when if we want to design systems. One is monolithic and the second one is distributed. We talk about some concept on monolithic and distributed manner. Okay. Before jumping into this, we talk some more concept. Sorry. What is the best practice? Best practice of designing of a system. The first one, we need to store the data. The second one is process. Third one is scaling. What is this? Third one is scaling. This we call this as a three pillars of any systems. Three pillars of any systems. Right. Now, what is the process we are gonna do when you are building and designing a system? First, we need to store the data. Then we need to start processing of the data. Then we need to scale it to the next level whenever we see the huge volume of the data. Now, so we can build a system in two ways. Now, I'm this categorized into monolithic. I'm writing this as again distributed. So now we talk more in detail of for distributed. When we talk about the distributed, the points are, so mono stands for standalone. Mono is you are building a system as a standalone, and it is hard to the features hard to add resources, and after certain limit, after, let us imagine I'm having the supermarket. I build a system to handle 1K customers. But my supermarket is doing good in this locality. My customers are increasing daily. So my customer now is 10K. Is the system will perform as equal to the 10K? Obviously, it's a very big no answer. So what I'm doing, he is adding some more some resources for storing. But still it is working into expected. Again, it says no. This is the drawback of monolithic. Okay. So the one of the important thing here we need to talk about monolithic. Monolithic. Adding 2x resource will not give 2x performance in the monolithic way. So we need to look for alternative. We need to choose. That's where the alternate option is distributed. What is this? Distributed. What distributed will do for us? It will have the it will have different servers, nodes, and we can double the performance. Okay. The most important is it can scale linearly. Linear scaling here. Here, whereas in a monolithic, it is in a vertical scaling. Monolithic. right? If somebody asks, if I increase the resources to the distributed environment, do I get the performance? Yes, absolutely. 2x resources will give me 2x performance. So whenever you wanted to build in a system, I will go over distributed rather monolithic way. Now we are coming to the Hadoop. The now our journey is going to start on. The question is Hadoop. What is a Hadoop? For the formal definition of the Hadoop, Hadoop is a framework to solve the big data problems. What is this? Big data problems. All right. We will see the evolution of the Hadoop. It's very interesting. Evolution of and milestones. I'll write here with year as a red color. So the Hadoop journey started from a year 2003. Okay. Google published a paper. They published a paper on how to store the large data sets, how to large volume data sets, volume of data in a distributed manner. What is this? Distributed manner. This is a paper. All right. Now that is called, that paper is called, you can find it in Google. It is called a Google file system. What is this? This is a Google file system. And a later next year, again Google published a paper on 2004 is the one. Google published a paper on how to process large volume of data, large volume of large volume of a given data. Right. So that is called distributed processing. That mechanism we call as a distributed processing, data processing. That referred as a MapReduce. Okay, now what happened? So Google has published two papers in 2006. Yahoo came into picture and taken 2003 GFS and 2004 MapReduce. They implemented these two papers and they brought the concept of, one is Hadoop file system, and they retained the name of MapReduce. Now here, now we will draw the, I will brief out Hadoop file system which store data in distributed manner and MapReduce. Will process data in same distributed manner. Okay. These are the evolution of the big data in real world practice, right? In the year 2009, Hadoop came under Apache license. Apache license. So later in 2013, it made publicly available. Publicly available, that is Hadoop 2.0. Now we will go through the again. We will see the timeline here in a single diagram. Now from years 2003, what came? GFS has come. By whom? By Google. 2000 again it has come MapReduce by Google. Who implemented in 2006? Yahoo. What they given for these two papers? One they have called is a Hadoop file system. Other we call this as a MapReduce. This is for, you remember, blindly store the data, storing. This is to process. Then in what happened in 2009, this came into the Apache license and it made as open source. 2013, it became as a Hadoop 2.0. These are the timelines. Hope these points are clear. Now, one more concept here. One more concept we wanted to introduce, that is something is called, everyone should remember this, and yet another resource negotiator. Right. Another resource negotiator. What this purpose? So mainly responsible for resource management. Now, why do I need? Because I have a huge data. I have a mechanism called HDFS and I have MR. HDFS will store the data. This will process the data. On top of that, it is an AND, yet another resource negotiator. This will do the, it will works as a below probabilities. Capabilities. Point number A, it works as a resource manager. Whenever you wanted to process a big volume of data, you need to plan the data how to process. It works as a node manager. We will talk detail in the HDFS session. And it works as a application master, and also it works as a containers. This is more important, where task executed. Now we will talk about, now we understood the concept. Now we will go to the important aspect of the Hadoop 2.0, because our focus of versus Hadoop 1.0, we have a map reduce. These are the two components. There is no resource manager. Whereas in a Hadoop 2.0 onwards, the Hadoop combines of three components. One is your HDFS, second one is your map reduce, third one is your AN. This is to store the data, this is to process, to manage the data. Hope everyone is clear about this, right? Finally, we'll talk about Hadoop ecosystem. What are the core components? MR, HDFS, and what are the other one? Is the AN. And for the top of this, we have something called different. I'll write the character scoop, HBase, Hive, Uzi, Pick, Pick. Okay, we'll talk briefly on the scoop is used for data ingestion. Data ingestion part, we'll talk more on detail. Pick is the Latin programming. It's kind of a Latin program. Why this is came into the picture? Because in a pick, earlier they used to write a pick programming to clean the data, which is the fourth variant. Whenever we see the fourth variant, we take help of Fig. So now Pig is no more been practicing by the industry. It has been taken care of Spark. Spark can handle most of the data, most of the time. Uji is the scheduler. Schedule the jobs in distributed environment. Highways. Highways most important aspect. Most important because it does work of MapReduce. Underlying property of this one is the MapReduce is underlying to the Hive. Hive is built on MapReduce. So we'll talk about MapReduce when we detail when it comes to this. H1 is a NoSQL database. What is this? NoSQL database. This is the Hadoop ecosystem. We'll stop the video here. Then tomorrow we'll talk on the. Okay. No, we will continue. We'll continue the final discussion on the Spark one. Now we talk on the Apache. Spark. This is a distributed general purpose in-memory compute engine. What is this? A distributed general purpose in-memory we'll talk this in-memory advantages in the later classes. Okay. Now the Spark is gonna replace your MR by Spark. Now Hadoop architecture, in a Hadoop given architecture, where I'm gonna fit the Spark, right? I have HDFS, I have a MapReduce, I have the what I'm having, and so HDFS goes to HDFS. There is a no replacement. I will talk this. The MR will be replaced by Spark, and also will remain the same. This is the latest or industry adapted framework and big data. Industry adapted framework. Okay. What Spark will tell, right? Spark is more flexible. What it does, what it tells. Okay. Why they are choosing Spark into consideration? It has its own factors, features. What Spark will do? Okay, you get me any database, you get me any data storage, I can connect. So you have a local storage. Okay, you want me to connect to local storage? Okay, I can connect. Either I can use HDFS, yes, or I can use Amazon S3 buckets. I can connect. And if it will like, again, it's easy to connect with the different systems. Either you have resource manager and or Mesos is one of the resource manager, and the famous and the most important for this is Kubernetes. I can connect. What Spark says, give me whatever the data you have, I can plug in. I can plug into my system. Right now, we'll summarize here. Compute engine. Goes to Spark. Storage. HDFS. Local. S3. Resource manager. I can go and Mesos or Kubernetes. If you ask me, in which language Spark is written? Scala. This what whole Hadoop ecosystem, the which is being adapted by the most of the companies in the current generation. So The crucial important of the core is here Spark. In signing off. Thank you so much. We'll catch up tomorrow.